Alright, my name is Alfred, and the purpose for this video is to show you the capability of effective accounting for managing your business. So I'm here to show you the features it has that differentiate it from most other accounting softwares out there in the market. So first of all, I need to log into the system. So currently I'm running on Effectiv Enterprise, and I'll be logging in as the owner of the business. So there's my ID. So we'll start with the transaction. Maybe the transaction for now. In Effectiv, every transaction or recent transactions are made to be displayed here on the transaction dashboard, and this accounting software is still undergoing development, so with time a lot of things will be changed here. So currently what you're seeing are all sales transaction that has been either invoiced or in partial state. For instance, this transaction is still in the open state, which means I can open it up and edit it. So it gives you this flexibility of managing the step or workflow for every particular sales order. For instance, it is open and maybe the client said, okay, we want 3 of these and not 2. You can simply edit this and increase the quantity here. So these 2, I'm just going to add 1 here, or click on here to edit and put 3. So adding 1 is as easy as clicking on the plus sign here, and we have 3 of this. And let's say he wants 5 of this, so I'm going to edit this edit and say 5 instead of 2. Alright, so the whole thing recalculates based on the price, and you see this is the total amount and the net total is this. Then also on this sales document, there are a lot of things you could do that makes it much better and flexible in managing your sales workflow. So for instance, when you want to select a customer, you can either type in the name of the customer or create a new one using the plus sign, so you don't have to move from one screen to another. You can simply hit here and create a new customer record you intend to sell to, and this is it, and you can create a new customer. So let me call this one let's say very important customer. Okay, just note that I created a customer called very important customer. I just copied it. You can also assign a picture for this customer. This enables you to search pictorially for the customer, so when you see their image you actually know who the customer is. So let me just show you an instance, and I'm going to select okay, let's just see a very important customer. Okay, Vladimir Putin of Russia. So that's our new customer, and I'll come back to the customer section and I can simply click on save, and Effectiv change the customer to the customer I just created. You can see very important customer, and you can see we don't have a phone number and a billing address. We can simply this is to create. We can simply hit on this edit to edit that same record right in there. So these are the flexibility of Effectiv Russia. Alright, so Moscow, who could spell that? Whatever. So this 112, okay, 112th Street, Moscow. I couldn't get that. So this, what you could do, the email address, you can put it very important at russia.gov. Alright, so that's all you could do. Phone number, you can include your customer's phone number here if you want to keep track of those. these are all available for you, and you can see the whole section for the customer updates automatically. Very important, customer doesn't have an outstanding balance. Now this balance was due to the previous customer we selected, so I'm going to clear that by reselecting very important customer, and having cleared stuff here, so maybe that will be removed soon. So this is the invoice section. Other section I want to tell you is that you could change the invoice number, especially when you're creating a new one. Now currently there's not a new invoice, it's an existing invoice that could be updated, so it is locked that I can't change it because it's a document I reopened. Remember, I just simply reopened this document. Now the date is by default the current date for this transaction, and the payment due date, the date you expect this person to pay you, let's just say 30th of March. If this customer doesn't pay up to this level, the system alerts you through email or notification that you are due to collect money from this customer, and so on and so forth. So these are the things we included in Effectiv. Then let's look at these informations that are here in our list of items the customer intends to buy. Now we have this item, 3 of those, and the rate is 2,370. We can give a discount just like we did for all this, and let's say it's a 4% discount. And now 4% discount amounts to removing 284 naira, and this the new amount this person is going to pay. So these flexibility are all there. If you don't want to give discounts, alright, so okay, that's okay, so we can remove that, set that to 0. Now discount is off, but definitely maybe you want to reduce this price to maybe 300. Okay, so Effectiv gives you that flexibility to do that as well. You can add notes to your invoice. You can add interesting note, okay, for this particular transaction, and it comes with the product. There's another important thing Effectiv has that I love a lot, and that is a dispatch location. Now for most companies that do have warehouses and maybe different business channels, they may or might want to specify where these items are being dispatched from, and the system generates a document that specifies that these particular items were ordered from this document and is going to be going out of this particular location, and that's why we call it a dispatch location. So in this case, by default, whenever you create this, the dispatch location is simply the current business channel or the current office or business branch you're working on, and that's where these informations are going out. But you could still specify where these things may be going off. For instance, I say this item is being dispatched from 3 of those is dispatched from the About warehouse, so you can see details. This one also from About warehouse, and so on and so forth. So these are the things we could get. So I can update this and even close the document to reopen it at a later time. So your record has been saved, and I think this is the record. Now you see very important customer saved, and the whole thing still remains February 8th. Okay, so I'm going to reopen it and update it to the current date because this is not February 8th. So I did this transaction February 8th, but I'm going to say today, and I'm going to update that and close. Okay, so when I close that, I think I should see that as the first item here. So there's a first item, and the transaction is renewed again, that it's at this date it was transacted. So this is how Effectiv keep track of everything. I'm still going to go back into that transaction, but let me explain a little bit about this section. As you can see, we have 76 records for this transaction, existing transaction 76, and it includes transaction from different branches of the company. So effectively have been designed to support branches and account for branches, and you as the owner of the business sees everything happening on one beautiful screen. You don't have to log in and log out and keep managing things from different views. Everything could be managed here. I'll show you the branch management portal as well. So from here we see we have 76 record, all paged in 4 different pages, and effective tries to load all this thing extremely fast, so there's nothing like a lag due to a huge amount of record. The one more thing I need to tell you is that you can as well specify how you intend to see what you intend to see. For instance, you could say, okay, I want to see all transaction from November of the 30th of November 2017, which is what is written here, to October 30th of October 2018. Actually, this is a physical year, so if I go right here, you can see November 30 to October 31st. So this is the physical year or the accounting period in which I set for this business. So after that date, the accounts will be closed. So accounts are being closed, everything are reconciled automatically, so you don't have to do the posting manually anymore. So with those dates set, we could say, okay, let's see what happens this week only. And when I hit reload, actually I have 18th of February to 23rd, and nothing showed up. So actually I've not done any transaction on this. So let's just say I want to see everything this month or last month. Let's say last month. What happened last month? We have 51 records. So last month alone, these are the total transaction that has gone through, and you can see that a lot of people still owing us, that this payment is incomplete, the person hasn't paid at all. So these are the things you could track with date interval, and interestingly, effective stores all these things. So I'm going to log out just to prove to you that this information keeps staying here as far as I've logged out, or whenever I come in I see my last search. So this enables me to keep track on what I need to see as I move on. So I'm going to click on the transaction again, and this time around hopefully we have those records we searched previously. So these are the transactions, January 1st to 31st of January. So we get everything here, and this customer haven't paid. Okay, customer haven't paid, we could search for that easily as well. We can say incomplete payment. When you search, it's incomplete. So effective actually return the result based on your date as well. So incomplete, I don't know if I typed it correctly, but that is it. You can type incomplete, or they are constant here. Incomplete payment, and it's incomplete payments as a string. So you see we have 13 records incomplete for the current date interval we have here, and they're all sorted. You can sort date 26th. Now you can see from the 26th of January we keep having people that haven't paid us completely up till the 16th of February. So, and their transactions are all invoiced. Okay, so with this you could have informed decision on what to do next. Now I will set this to the current accounting period I'm working with, and I'm going to say let's say incomplete as well. Incomplete, we still have 13 records. Okay, for this. Okay, let me just remove the incomplete status. Okay, now with this we have every 76 record, and this is the one we just did recently, and this transaction was done in another office. okay, manager of head office, okay, currently in our office. So the manager of this branch did this transaction, and I can look into it. I can see that this customer is still owing a balance of 319,400, and the total is 519,400, so which means he paid 200,000. So with that, you can see below we have the subtotal, the VAT, the net total, and amount paid. Now the interesting thing about effectiv is that it keeps track of when this amount were paid. So like most accounting software wouldn't give you a transactional history of how this payment came in and where they came in from. So effectiv keep track per document. So have a payment history, tells you that on the first day of this transaction nothing was paid. The later 200,000 was paid into a bank, and it's Fidelity Bank. So this is how we can track this, and if it's a mistake it could be cancelled. All right, and we can as well receive payment from here. So I'm going to click receive payment. Let's say he's paying extra 100,000 or 150,000. So when you do that, effectiv automatically brings up that transaction and assumes you want to receive all payment, and add the total amount here for you to continue the transaction. But in this case, we're saying it is this person brought 150,000 and still with bank. I'm gonna push this to our bank account. Let's say our Diamond Bank account again, and I'm going to say okay, process and close. So we can process this and close it. So it remains this balance, so the whole transaction has been committed. So this is a Diamond Bank, 150,000 came in, and this is how everything is documented. And before you do such a thing, you must have approved or gotten a detailed information about how the money came in before you come here and transact it. So this kind of you knowing exactly what is in your bank with this section. So there are lots on this to discuss, and this is how you could receive payment, or you can create a return, or you can simply print these things out. So effectiv has a beautiful print preview for every transaction. So I'm going to click one and back to this transaction. So okay, now that's the printout is what is coming up. So when it's out, I think this is trying to generate a report. Okay, so now I can now freely go in here and say okay, what do I say I want to do? Okay, we just received payment for that one now, right? Okay, I was saying I'm going back to this transaction, okay, for the very important client. So these are everything we need to do. If I did, I can put information here, and you can see the person that created it. Okay, now when I hit validate, I didn't receive any money. So let's say this person paid completely. I'm going to clear this balance, which clears everything for me here. And when I hit validate and process, something interesting happens here. Effectiv goes through all the location, check if actually we have the number of quantity we specified. Okay, and that's why it's giving us this validation error to fix. Now it's telling us that there are multiple entries with quantity exceeding the available stock in About Warehouse. Now we have various About Warehouses, 3 and 5 here, the same item but different prices, and it's telling us that we don't have any stock in that warehouse, and we cannot actually make the sale to go through. So as well as the About Warehouse, we have the same thing. and effectiv is complaining that, hey, you need to fix this before you move further. And that's what we could do by removing this item, because they are not really available. Now you can see that we have various warehouses which we can select as a dispatch location for any transaction we intend to do. Another interesting thing is that effectiv support barcode management for companies that utilize barcode to scan and put in products or sell products to their customers. So effectiv has that functionality. All you need to do is activate it for your own profile, and it becomes active and saved for you, so that whenever you come again, you can still use it. Now you can when you do that, the cursor must be here before you start scanning, and that's how it works perfectly. Sometimes you may not want to, for instance, for companies that only have one customer, you may simply or don't care about their customer details. You can simply hide this section while you sell with barcodes. But in this case, we are using it. So that's it, and I'm going to close this. Validation failed for that. You can as well check transaction done in various branches of the company, like this was done in a different branch. I can open it up. It is paid completely, but I'm not allowed to transact on it or do any funny thing on it. I may cancel it, I think so. I don't know if cancellation is allowed, so let's just try that. This transaction is a wedding invitation card. Let me see if I can cancel transaction from another business. So let's put my password. Hopefully you can only cancel sessions that was created in your channel or your company branch. So it can't be cancelled, it can only be cancelled in the channel where it was created, in order not to violate certain rules there. So these are things we have. We can view estimates, perform invoices, drafted sales order that are still pending. All these are pending, not yet committed, and you can see we can do a lot of things. We can still delete them if we don't need those. We can view canceled invoices, and these are invoices that has been terminated because of one issue or the other related to the transaction document. But effectiv keep track of those canceled invoices for you, so that you could refer to them and why it was cancelled. We can also print transaction history in maybe PDF, Word, whatever, Excel. Any of those could work. Remember, we can create new sales invoices simply by clicking on new sales invoice, and we can select our customer. Okay, whenever I'm trying to generate a print, this thing slows down. Okay, so now I can create a new sales invoice. Okay, so here I'll select my customer who I'm creating this for, and I can select the product I intend to sell to this customer. I have various product A, B, C, D has sub items. Now this is another interesting thing of effectiv, that most accounting software has a way of implementing it, and some don't have this functionality. And that's the idea of having sub items for a particular item. So for instance, you see this product ABCD has a product ABCD blue color, which has 100 units available for 1,000 each, and the red color 100 units available for 640 each. So these are the things we could get here. So 20, and I need a red one, 20. So this, the red one, 20. So I'm going to reduce this by 20. And that's all. So we could invoice this and we're good to go. There are a lot of things we could do when it comes to searching for product. Effectiv has that ability. So type effective, for instance. When I put a comma, I can search multiple items. So I'm searching effectiv. You can see there's effectiv there. There's a training service, which I think effectiv is within each sub item or 4 sub items. So I can type products like shoes. We have shoes. Let's say we have dresses. And these are, I think, ladies' dress. If at all we find some. Alright, so we have ladies' dress, and note that this will only return items that are available for sale, that are in stock actually, and available for sale. So we have 18 of this, and this costs 7,300. I'm gonna add that. You can see we can add this, and we can move it upward. We put the size 39 or 38 upload. Alright, so this is an example of what you could do. Let's say this person paid completely, create a transaction and validate. Now it's an invoice and effectiv has tagged it as paid. When you print this, you get exactly what you see here as the print preview. So when I click here, see that's exactly what we get. The shoe stays at the top. That's how we arrange the whole thing. So I think I've said a lot about the sales. There are a lot of things we could do about sales, but for now this is where I'm going to stop on that. So if we go back to product and services, likewise, how the sales work, we can view products and services. Maybe their stock, like you can see this 130 is 400 and this is 20, and the product I just sold, product ABCD, I think. Alright, now you see this product has gone down to 80 because they were 100 before, and now they're 80 units remaining. What if I want to say, okay, let's see how many of these we have in this warehouse. When I click on that, effectiv goes search, find out we have 000 everywhere, and that's because there's no stock in any warehouse currently. The stock I have here is currently on the branch, so that's how effectiv keep track of this. And so again is that every item here could have sub items. For instance, look at this shoe. We could definitely store this crystal men's leather shoe size 42 as a separate item, but in this case we just keep them as one unit, and we can manage them easily, maybe with a different account. So I'm going to open up the shoes, for instance, and this is the shoes page, and you can see it has its own separate account where whenever we sell them, the accounts that have been affected from the sales. Stock manager, there's a stock history that tells you how they came in, how they left, and here is stock added. It's done manually. There's a transaction for which this item was sold. I think how many of it? 2 was sold, and from here it said it was 5 and 2 went out, which is down. So that's it. And a lot of other things effectiv has is about accounting, which it documents your accounting in an effective way. You can create accounts, you can manage your expenses. I think there's an expense claims section. You can manage your account, you can do everything. This way you can manage expenses, just track expenses and all that your business runs. So with the chart of accounts, you see every account and their balances, and you can see what you have in your bank total, and all bank balances. There's a sum total is 2.9 million. Right? You can see your receivables. So what are you expecting from your clients, from your customers, those owing you? So you see there's someone owing us up to 1 million naira. So we can simply filter that out by saying debtors balances, and that brings us all these receivables. We can peek into their ledger to see how this money was accumulated. So when I peek into this ledger, I can see that this receivable was made from a sales entry made to Big Newi, all right, and balance of 1 point something million. So this person I think didn't pay anything at the moment, and this is the document. I'm going to click on it to open, and you can see the transaction that led to 1.1 million. So let's say I want to receive some balance from this person. So he's paying 500,000 and he's paying cash. So I'm going to process that and close. So it's paying us 600,000 now. Now, what happens when I reload this? If I reload this transaction, we have another new entry on February the 14th. Big Newi paid 500,000 cash. All right. So his receivable has reduced by 500,000, so his balance is 600,000, and that's what we're having. The 600,000 is what he's owing us. Okay. And here the accounts affected are cash, so cash has increased by 500,000. Okay, so that is exactly what happened. Still, it references still a document which we can check the payment and see. We're going to see everything involved here. Now, because cash has increased, let's look at the cash. Our cash is now 2.3 million. When I go to the cash ledger, which is going to be huge, the last entry is that 500,000 to give us 2.3 million. So this is how Effectiv keep track of this. Well, creating new accounts very easy. Creating journal entry that are raw are very easy. To create a new account, you can create it from most of various parts of the application that requires account creation. How to utilize all this is out of the scope of this. If a well-documented tutorial on accounting for Effectiv, or accounting basically, will be arranged later. So here I can put in what accounts are affected. For instance, let's say customer made a deposit of 20,000 or 100,000. In this case, cash will increase. So customer made a credit deposit, so let's say cash increases. So I'm going to select cash of 200,000. Okay, so somebody just paid 200,000, and that is let's say this person is credit note. Let's say credit note. So I want to create a credit note account for customers. Okay, let's say it's a very important customer, and this person brought 200,000. I want to be taking those with that amount. So credit notes for very important customer. Okay, so he brought cash. Let's say no, paid into an account. Let's say he paid into Heritage Bank account. So I'm going to post this, and this is a transaction that has been posted, raw transaction posted, and that affects what's it called, bank account. So bank has increased to 3.1 million, and this is the one that was affected. If I go down to his ledger, you can see, very important, paid 200,000. And Effectiv documents everything for you to get, and things are going to get better because we're working harder to also put new features and new ability for this software to suit every business need you are facing. Alright, so let's say for instance this customer intend to buy something and very important customer, so let's just select very important customer. So I think this is it. Now look at what effectiv does. Effectiv saw the credit note we just created and say, okay, do you want to clear this man's balance with his existing balance? So we can say yes or no. So I'm going to select ladies heels. I say he bought 3 of this, and he bought the men's one. He bought 3. 3. I didn't add the first one. Bought 2 of this and bought 1 of this. Okay, and the ladies one, he bought 3 of this. You can see how I added all this stuff here. We could give discounts here. Let's say 5% discount because you bought a lot. Okay, now with this we can say, okay, we want to use this existing credit note to clear the total of 125,000. So I'm going to click on it, and you can see effectiv automatically deducted this amount. We have this balance for him, and that is it. And we can say validate. Okay, so create first and validate this transaction, and this transaction is complete. And everything is complete. We can print those. I'm going to generate that in PDF format, and which is what you're seeing here. Very interesting. So these are the things we could do with effectiv. There are a lot of them. Effectiv also give you customization from your company details. You can customize everything to your branches, business channels. So you can see I have 3 business channels or branches here. If I go to the where channel and say, okay, let's see what they've done in expenses. They have no record. What are their incomes? They have 170-something thousand as income. The balance sheet, how it looks like for accountant, and so on and so forth. So these are things we have. There's a other settings section that is broad, that gives you the ability to change a lot of things, and all this to automate the system. So a lot of settings you could set to make this a remarkable usage for your business. So we can change a lot of things, like I just changed the theme for the application. I'm back to the inventory section. Okay, and if I look into this item again, okay, I have it did this. You can see stock history. I think this one I sold today, and it brought out that document for very important customer, and this is what effectiv could do for us. So there are a lot of features, functionalities effectiv has. Effectiv also has a way of ensuring that your users have the right permission to do whatever they intend to do on the system. So they don't just come in and touch anything they like and go. So it has a predefined role for every user per se. So there are a lot, but I think I'm going to end it here. There's a stock document. This for creating new. This a stock document where we create documents that enters the warehouse or our branch, store, and all that. Our customers and vendors. This is our customer list. We can view them in different views. And these are all the customers, and this is very important customer. Clicking on it opens the customer record, and we can view all transaction this customer is involved in. Okay, and let's say transaction that involves sales invoice. So I think this is what I can show you for now. Accounting is the most broad aspect of effectiv, which I don't think I could explain deeply in this video. Like this, your income statements well formatted and arranged for you to know what you're earning in business. There's a balance sheet as well. There's an expense report that you can use to see how you're doing expenses. A lot of things you could do with a journal entry history, how transaction comes in, which file was effective. Alright, so that's all I have to say about effectiv for now. Thank you for listening.